Hey Travis, welcome back to Pokemon Deck Tech. I would be Poke Dad, and today, without the Dancing Bear, but I've got something absolute bonkers, crazy, insane, whatever word you want to fit. It's Finnegan's Cutter Tap Cruise deck that they used at Worlds, and it's absolutely nuts. Now I'm gonna try to spread this out because there's no way I can talk about what each Pokemon's for, and then the items, and then supporters, and so on. It's going to be easier if I spread it all out and then kind of explain. So bear with me. For Poiple. Now it's going to be the Poiple that has Knockout Reviver. Okay? Psychic Colorless during your opponent's turn. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is knocked out, your opponent can't take prize. Okay? So, Knockout Reviver. 2 Naganadel GX Dragon. 1 Psychic Naganadel GX. 4 Inkay. 3 Malamar. 2 Nincada. 3 Shedinja. 1 Meowth. And 1 Persian with Make 'em Pay. 1 Ditto. 1 Mew. 1 Garatina with Distortion Door. And then 1 Dedenne GX. Okay. So, you're going to be powering up with Malamar, obviously. You're going to be using Shedinja to keep your opponent from taking prizes. You've got some explosive draw power with the Naganadel GX. And then you also have regular Naganadel GX with Stinger. So you can eventually power up to use the Stinger GX to put your opponent to 3 prizes. And then from there, you go into like Shedinja and won't let them take prizes. So I know. This is crazy. Okay, I know. But I'll do my best to explain everything. Forms of search: we've got 4 Mysterious Treasure, 4 Pokemon Communication, and a Beast Ball. Huh? How about that? So there's your only items. Your only items are forms of search. That's it. Supporters: 4 Sightseer for thinning. You want to be thinning, discarding stuff. 3 Cynthia. 3 Lusamine. 2 Hapu. 2 Brock's Grit. 1 Tate and Liza. Now for the stadiums, you've got 3 Ultra Space. And then for the energy count, you're going to have 3, 6 Psychic, and 2 Recycle. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's 6 Psychic. Okay? 6 Psychic, 2 Recycle. Okay. Now that we've got it all spread out, what is happening here is probably what you're asking. And I'm going to do my best to explain. Okay, so here's your options. Option number 1, you can power up for Stinger, and then put them down to 3, and then you attach Shedinja to, say, your Garatina or your Naganadel, or you can just keep using Shedinja on your Poiple, and eventually they run out of cards, you deck them out, or you can win the game flat out, like if you attach Shedinja and power up Garatina every turn. Because you're going to be able to attach Recycle. If Garatina gets knocked out, put it back on the bench, power it up with Malamar, put it up in the active, attach Recycle, and you can attack again. So that's option number 1. Okay? Is you could just take your 6 prizes. Option number 2, you use Poiple's Knockout Reviver, and you attach Shedinja to whatever you put up next in the active. So they're going to spend resources knocking out Poiple, right? And then if you don't have another Poiple to put up, then whatever you put up, you just attach Shedinja. Okay? And then they don't take prizes. So they're constantly knocking out your Pokemon, but they're constantly not taking prizes. And there's a limited number of custom catchers, so they're only going to be able to take 2 off the bench for a knockout. So, yeah, you just streamline Poiples or Shedinjas, and you can get them back with Brock's Grit, and then you have Lusamine to get back Brock's Grit. They're always searchable with the Ultra Space. See? So you Lusamine for Ultra Space and Grit. You can shuffle back in the Ninkatas and Shedinja line, and then you can search out your Poiples with Ultra Space. So there's kind of the loop. All right, this isn't a full-blown like Shedinja Oranguru kind of loop. This is completely different because this can actually take prizes if needed to. Now, your opponent's going to be building up huge hands. If they're not playing anything, they're just knocking out Poiple, knocking out Poiple, knocking out Poiple. That's when you hit them with the make them pay. How many times did you see on stream, like, especially the greens decks, they build up these huge hands of like 10 to 12 cards. Hit them with the make them pay. They have to discard all the way down to 4 cards. Okay? So that is super, super, super awesome. If opponent has 4 or more cards in their hand, they reveal their hand. Discard cards you find there until your opponent has exactly 4 cards in their hand. That is pretty awesome, right? So you let them build up that huge hand, hit them with the make a pay. Awesome. Okay, so we've talked about you can get prizes. We've also talked about you can use Poiple. You power up Poiple. It's a psychic and a colorless. You can power it up with Malamar. You got the recycle energy you can attach. So, what other? How do we get it done here? Like I said, you got the 4 Mysterious Treasure, 4 Poke, 1 Beast Ball, which you're going to get value because you're going to see if one of them are prized or not, and you can get them. So in this deck, Beast Ball is actually not bad since you definitely want to be finding Poiples, you know? So thinning. Lots of ways to thin with Sightseer and Hapu, okay? Because you want a small deck size, so whenever you cycle through with Brock's, and then if you get Ultra Space, and then you can discard it and draw 3 more, that's just going to help your lock. So you want to be thinning, getting rid of all the clutter that you don't need. And it's naturally going to get thin when you play each Mysterious Treasure. You're getting rid of a card, or you're getting rid of an energy or something. You're getting rid of the stuff you don't really want to draw into, and that's where Sightseer. If you're getting a handful of clutter, you don't need it. You also, let me touch on the Mew. You got the Mew, so they can't snipe stuff on the bench. Perfect against Naganatal GX, so they can't snipe like your Dedenne or your Malamar, stuff like that. So that's super awesome. And also Zekrom and Pikachu. Got the Ultra Space, we already covered that, to grab your Poiples and your Naganatals. Super awesome. You want to be winning the Stadium War because Lysander Labs does wreck your deck. Okay? Lysander Labs shutting off your Shedinja is bad, 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 bad. But you've got Lusamine to get them back. And you've got 3 Lusamines. So technically you could get 2, 4, 6. 6 more stadiums if 2 of them are in the discard. Worst case scenario. You wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying. So you're going to win the Stadium War eventually, but the Lysander Labs is going to give you problems. Especially if they're playing like a Rangaroo loop, where they can just keep recycling the Lysander Labs back into their deck. So 3 Cynthia. We already touched on Hapu and Sightseer. Brock's Grit. Stuff's going to go to the discard pile. You want to get it back into the deck. Tantalize is good for a nice shuffle draw or to switching. That's one thing this deck does not have is a way to switch Pokemons out of the active. And there's nothing with free retreat. So you have to be very strategic about what you put up in the active, since you're not going to have that mobility other than one Tater Liza. So I think that just about covers this. This deck is crazy, okay? It is absolute crazy, and hopefully I didn't screw it up too bad on how to play it. The Dancing Bear is looking forward to actually trying this out in a video. So we're going to get to that super soon. But tonight we are going to record our report card, grade ourselves, how we did at Worlds, meta forecast. And after that, we're going to do some Worlds gameplay, like test out the Worlds deck, see which ones we like the best, which ones we don't really like. And this is absolute bonkers. So, but hey, shout out to the Cutter Tap crew for coming up with it. This is crazy because I did catch that Hale played in the Open with a list like this. Not this exact list, but something like this, and he got third. He got top 4 at the Open. So, I don't know. It's pretty nuts. So, that's about it. Rambling here. So, till next time, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.